We control our inventory. We have a purpose for our inventory. And we're the only company that can do that. Now, I want you to read the hat. What does it say? It says Cybercab. Hey, welcome back, everybody. So, Tesla is the only car company on the planet right now who can, number one, totally control their inventory, their supply of vehicles, and also they have a job for every vehicle they make, even if nobody buys one. And in the future, nobody will buy vehicles. All right, what the hell am I talking about? When you make vehicles and you do not have a traditional supply chain of dealerships, you are a direct-to-consumer manufacturer. You don't have a requirement from dealerships around the country or around the world to purchase X amount of vehicles from you. All you have, in some areas, are service centers. They're not sales centers, they're not dealerships, they're service centers. And if you've ever owned a Tesla, as I do, I have a 2022 Model 3, one thing you learn very rapidly is service is practically non-existent. There are two things I do with this car. I put tires on it, and contrary to popular belief and all the lies out there, they do not wear tires faster than a combustion engine vehicle. So I put tires on the car, I put wiper blades on the car, which, by the way, I have never done on this particular car, and it's got 78,000 miles on it. The only other thing I do is I add windshield washer fluid. So, as you know, the auto industry is imploding on itself. There is a massive oversupply of new vehicles. Very few people want to buy new vehicles. Two reasons. Number one, they can't afford them. Number two, they most definitely can't afford the interest rates. And if Powell doesn't get off his pouting Powell attitude, nothing will sell. Now, what's going on at Tesla is much different than anybody else. There are no fields of cars hidden behind dealerships that have the Tesla logo on them. When Tesla decide that sales are down, the first thing they do is they just reduce the rate of production. And they have definitely done that. For anybody who's paying attention, they have definitely reduced the rate of production. However, they are producing cars much faster than anybody else. And because of the technology they are using and the automation in their factories, as soon as demand increases, they can flip faster than traditional auto. The reason traditional auto can't flip as fast is because they are totally dependent on people. Unions, whether you like them or not, they are a stranglehold on the automobile industry. The other thing about Tesla is if you work at Tesla, chances are you're not going to lose your job. They'll just move you to another segment of the building process or the factory process. And the reason for that is they don't just build cars. Right now they're building robots. They're also building out battery recycling infrastructure, battery building infrastructure, and various other things. They have the Boring Company, they have SpaceX, they have all these areas in where they can move a lot of people around. Whereas if you work for one of the big auto manufacturers and sales go down, they're going to lay you off. Because even the dealerships only have an allotted amount of vehicles that they have to buy. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being an automobile dealership where you are forced to buy a product from the factory that is not selling. Can you imagine that? Now, let's say your allotment is 1,000 vehicles or 2,000 vehicles or 5,000 vehicles, and you haven't sold one. Can you imagine being in that position? Can you imagine the struggle that you will have to even remain in business? And by the way, dealerships don't pay cash for those cars. They have loans. Their bank loans purchase those cars. Those bank loans, they pay interest on them. And unless they get out from under those vehicles, they still keep paying that interest over and over and over and over again, month after month after month after month. That's why, another reason, if they don't start reducing interest rates and people don't start purchasing these cars, the overall auto industry is going to suffer. Tesla will suffer much less. Tesla have one other bigger advantage than traditional car makers. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but there's this Cybercab that they're currently getting ready to produce. And there's another thing that just launched called Robo Taxi. If you've been paying attention to X, you're not going to find this information on traditional media because, as you know, Tesla and Elon Musk is the arch enemy of traditional media because they don't advertise. So Robo Taxi launched in this part of Austin about a little over a month ago, actually. And then they decided that they were going to increase that area, which currently is bigger now in Austin than the area that Waymo are handling. So they've already outgrown Waymo in Austin. But anyway, they added this new section. And as you can see, it's different. It's definitely optically, it's different. And if I'm not mistaken, the suggestion was made to Elon Musk to do it this way by Stephen Mark Ryan, who is I'm a big fan of Stephen and I support his channel. He's one of the original guys I found on YouTube who was pumping out stats on Tesla. And he's one of the reasons I started purchasing Tesla in 2017, Tesla stock. And I found Stephen shortly after that. And he's definitely a lot of the reason I have purchased a lot more Tesla since then. And I continue to. In fact, just a few minutes ago, right before making this video, I also purchased additional Tesla stock. I buy it anytime I can, when I can, because I believe in the future of the company. By the way, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research. I highly suggest you hire a professional. And I do have a disclaimer in the description of this video. I also have a discount link in there for Tesla. If you're looking to buy Tesla products, you will get a discount. And if you like the video and you want to buy me a cup of coffee, there's a little link in there you can click on where you can buy me a cup of coffee. My God, I have an itchy nose. They say when you have an itchy nose, that means money is coming. I don't know. Maybe my Tesla stock is going to go up. Anyway, I digress. The geofenced area, of course, as you can see, is kind of funny. But today, they just announced that they are launching in the Bay Area in this part of San Francisco. And this area is huge. And in comparison to Waymo, it's much bigger. Now, it's actually bigger than a lot of countries. One of the big Tesla advocates from Sweden, Alexander Christensen, he actually posted a very funny picture. And as you can see here, he's comparing the size of the geofenced area in San Francisco to his country of Sweden. So it's obviously Sweden. And oddly enough, I'm from Ireland, as most of you know. It's bigger than Ireland. So, you know, America is a massive country, and people say, well, they just launched a few in here and a few there. But frankly, these geofenced areas are larger than many countries in the world already. Now, we believe that the Robotaxi is going to ramp much, much faster. They are using safety drivers in these vehicles. We also believe that that is temporary. But let's get back to inventory. Imagine that every vehicle you make has the potential to work for you, the manufacturer. They're currently using Model Ys. The new Model Y Juniper is the chosen vehicle for Robotaxi. My Model 3 has Robotaxi capability. The Cybertruck will have Robotaxi capability. The Model S will have Robotaxi capability. The Model X will have Robotaxi capability. And we all know that there is a new, lower cost, most likely something that looks like a Model Y that's coming soon. We all know that the Tesla Semi factory is ramping in Nevada. And that also, by the way, has autonomous capability. Now, when they first started building the Tesla Semi, our entire thought was, well, I will be able to purchase one and I'll be able to put it out into a fleet and I won't need drivers. And I will save all that money on the driver. Well, guess who else can do that? Tesla themselves can do that. Now, they have promised all along that no matter what happens, we will be able to purchase vehicles. We will have the choice of putting them out in the Robotaxi fleet. And then we will share a portion of that revenue with Tesla. And I believe that they will honor that commitment and honor that statement. Many people, frankly, won't want to do that. There will still always be people who will want to own their own cars. But there will be a lot of people, especially the next generation coming up, who have no desire to own a vehicle. We have already lost our passion with the automobile. My generation still love cars. I still dream of owning Ferraris and all these cars. I probably never will because that's just not my style. I'm a minimalist at heart. I look like a minimalist, and I can guarantee you I do not flaunt anything that I have or that I own. It's just, I don't think it's cool to do that. But that's just me. You do you, I do me. But the next generation have lost their passion for the automobile. They see it as a form of transportation, a way to get from A to B or A to Z, depending on how far you want to go. They don't want to own cars. They don't want to pay car insurance. Many of them don't even want to live in spaces big enough to house a car. They would much rather live in smaller homes without garages. They're not accumulating crap like we did. And believe me, I've got a lot of crap. And what I need is a dumpster more than I need a car, but that's another story. And by the way, I have a plan for that. My garage is full of crap. I'm going to empty it out, and I have a big plan for it, and I will be making videos on that as soon as I decide on the design. But understand that Tesla will never have an inventory problem because of this. And by the way, eventually, Robotaxi and autonomous vehicles will be legal worldwide. They are already testing in parts of Europe, even though it's technically hush-hush. They are making deals with China, and they're making deals with other countries. And Alexander Christensen was here. He was here for the X Takeover event in California. He got to experience full self-driving firsthand. Holmar's Omar took him around in his car in San Francisco. Alexander documented that on video. He has been lobbying the Swedish government for a very long time to allow them, to make it possible to allow Tesla to bring in the unsupervised technology of full self-driving into Sweden so they can prove to themselves that it's safer than humans already. 10 times safer. These robo-taxis are 10 times safer than your Uber driver. So hopefully when Alexander gets back, I believe he was flying back yesterday or today, maybe he's back today, but I'm going to put a link to his X account right up here in the video. So I want you to follow him, and he does these great spaces on X. And if you're not familiar with spaces, these are discussion groups that These guys set up usually in the afternoons, sometimes in the evenings, and really, really highly intelligent people. Some of them are actually engineers, former engineers who have worked for Tesla or have worked for suppliers and are extremely familiar with the technology. So you are getting real-time information from very, very credible sources who understand the technology that is in these vehicles that I am sitting in right now. So it's very important that you do your own research on this. And even if you're not an investor, you don't have to invest in Tesla. I do, and many people do, but you should understand what's happening in the future. Maybe you're my age, maybe you're above 60 years old, and you're getting ready to retire, and you're thinking, maybe I'll just go to a not necessarily a bigger city, but maybe I'll go to Charlotte, North Carolina, or I'll go to Richmond, Virginia, or I'll go to wherever. Understand something. There is a possibility that very shortly you would be able to live in one of these smaller. Eventually, it doesn't matter where you live. Robotaxi will be everywhere. But, within the next year, 2 years, 3 years, there's a possibility that you can move somewhere like this and you won't want to own a car. It won't be necessary for you to own a car. So if you're smart, if you are planning your retirement, if you have planned for your retirement, and you have these various categories of funds that you have set aside, one of those funds may be to own a new car every 4 years or 5 years or 10 years, or maybe just own a used car. If you're on a low income or a lower budget, maybe you have set aside $5,000 every 2 years to replace a used car, whatever that amount is. I mean, what if you could not own a car? What if it was unnecessary for you to even own a car? And maybe the only time you needed your own car would be when you're making a trip down to Florida or up to New York or over to Ohio to visit your family, and you just rent a car. That would be a lot cheaper than ownership. Because if Robotaxi is going to be available in your area, I can promise you, you will not need to own a car. Tesla will not need to sell vehicles. And by then, they're going to be selling so many robots that the cars will be absolutely insignificant. Maybe one day you'll be able to buy a car with a robot and it'll be a package deal. Imagine that. Imagine if the car takes you everywhere you want to go. The robot puts the groceries in the car at the grocery store, comes home, takes them out of the car, brings them into your home, and then you send the robot out to cut your grass, the Optimus robot, which is, as you can see here, that's the robot that Tesla are currently building and getting ready to put into production. You will be able to purchase one of these. But imagine he comes in, sorry, not he or she. Now I just offended somebody. No pun intended, I'm old. So imagine sending it out to cut your grass and then sending the Robotaxi away. Or if you own the Robotaxi, you're sending it out also to make money for you. But you won't have to own it. So understand something. I've said this in many videos before. I invest in Tesla. Elon Musk has said this himself. If you are investing in Tesla because it's a car company, stop wasting your money. It's not a car company. If you want to invest in a car company, go somewhere else, but you're going to lose your money. Tesla is not a car company. It's a high-level technology, robotics, battery builder, etc., etc., etc. Cars are only a tiny part of it. And in the short term, any car they build, they have an in-house use for. I don't want you to ever forget that. Don't take my word for it. There are many, many amazing resources out there where you can get this information. But I promise you, you won't get it on CNBS, you won't get it on NBC, you won't even get it on Fox. You won't get it anywhere on those media channels because Tesla does not advertise. And all of those big corporate, traditional, legacy broadcasting corporations, whatever you want to call them, they are completely in bed with their mistress, and their mistress is the fossil fuel industry. Don't ever, ever forget that. Now, if you liked this video and if you made it to the end, I thank you immensely. Please like, subscribe, share, and do me a favor. If you want to see another video like this one, put a 1 down in the comments section. Thanks for watching.